there was a somewhere that I read about you, Helen, that you stated, tell a story, change the conversation. What does that really mean to you? What is that vibe you get when I read that to you, even though it's your words, but hearing someone else say it, how does that vibe with you and what you do?
Yeah. So again, that you've done some research because that is a tagline that I used to use. Keep changing them all the time, right? Because we've got to be dynamic in our businesses. Um, but yeah, that's I think that actually still might be on my LinkedIn profile. I'm not sure. But what that encapsulates for me is, again, if we talk about the creative part of storytelling and then the scientific part of storytelling. And so the creative part, I want to start there first because I want to let people know that you don't have to be a novelist. You don't have to be, even capable of writing a children's storybook. To tell a story in business is not the same. There's a similar framework, but all you need to do is be able to make a connection with the main character of the story that you're sharing and the main character of the audience that you're talking to. And that's where you were talking before about that feeling that might run down your spine or lights up your heart or whatever that might be. So that's the creative piece. The science piece is actually where that phrase speaks to. If you begin a conversation with lots of facts and lots of data, if someone feels that they're being sold to, there is an immediate kind of shutdown of the brain. And if you tell a story, I actually just did a whole series of this on my social media this past week about the science connected to storytelling. There's actually a physical change in your brain when you hear a story that you relate to, that it shuts down that kind of amygdala response that puts you in a protective mode, and it actually makes you, like, you lean in when somebody tells you a story. You want to know the outcome of that story. And so it changes the conversation. It physically changes the chemical reaction in the brain. And there's lots of other things too. It lights up all these different parts of the brain. It elicits one of the hormones that's like a pleasure response, all of those things. So if you think of yourself in a sales conversation with someone and you can elicit a pleasure response, if you can get someone to lean in and want to know more about you and be excited about the conversation, that absolutely changes the conversation.
Absolutely. And